Alrighty, we got our compression back on our 2007 Yamaha VX110 with some minimal maintenance. So now we are going to siphon all the oil first out of the reservoir. Then I'm going to pull the head cover off and actually siphon straight down through here through the timing chain area to get to the very bottom of the motor. I'll raise the front of the motor up, tilt it backwards, which will drain everything to the back corner of the motor, be able to siphon out like 90% of the oil easily on this thing. We've got a completely empty pump, so we'll see how much oil we pull out of here. And it should be noted that when I checked the oil on it, it was just a little, like on a hot ski after 8 minutes on a garden hose run. Pretty hot motor, about maybe an eighth to a quarter inch shy of the full mark on the oil reservoir level. So I haven't gotten hardly 2 quarts out of that oil reservoir as expected. I'm up to right about here. Here's a 2 quart line. So what I'm gonna do is, I've always meant to do this and never actually have. Here's your oil comes down into your head, but here's your return to the tank, I believe. So I'm gonna pull this one off of here and try to siphon out of there. Nah, I don't think that's actually it. Yeah, disregard that. I think, if I remember right, it's that line right there is the return line. So, debating whether I disconnect that or not. That's at the bottom of the reservoir. I think that would leak oil all over the hull. So, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's do a little experiment. I'm gonna pull off the oil cover bolts here. There's a O-ring gasket under in there, so we can reuse that, no problem. We'll take out the plate that's down in there, get down to the bottom of the tank, and see if we can extract more oil, do a full oil change just by removing this top on here, basically. Alright, so if this works, we'll call this video like a full oil change. So what you're going to do on your VX, this is an 07, if I didn't mention that. Pull this one off here with your quick clamp, pull that one off. Get rid of your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 small bolts. Careful not to snap this. And now you've got just lixie down in here, so gives you a chance to clean off that gunk that forms over the years, that oil gunk. Anyway, so now you're going to need, let's see, let me find out which size Allen head down for there, and there. There's 3 of them in there. Okay, so that's going to be a 4 mil Allen head. And these have a very low torque spec on them, so you can break them free pretty quickly like that. Let's get them out of there. And that's all you're looking at is these little short 4 millimeters. Now you can get down in here and just pull this guy out, strip it off, and get it cleaned off with some brake cleaner. So now that we can get down there, you see that little screen down the middle. It's actually all dented in, probably from somebody pushing down into there with a siphon pump in the past or something. So we'll siphon the rest of that oil off of there at least, and then we'll get down at that screen to remove it and inspect it to make sure it's not torn. And then to remove those 2 screen bolts down there on the top and bottom of that in the picture, that's a 5 mil Allen head. Alright, so here's that little filter screen that was down in there. So it was punctured, of course. People tend to do that when they get in there with the wrong tools and shove the wrong type of a siphon pump down in those. So it'll break that stuff, so gotta get down there and inspect that. And this one isn't actually ruined. It is a little seam in this metal here, so I should be able to take a thin screwdriver, like a eyeglasses type screwdriver, and feed that back in there. It's pretty rigid, so I'll give it a try. And there you go. It's actually a 2-piece thing. You can see the seam right there in that metal. So I was able to spread that seam, feed that material back in there, and then just clamp it down in the bench vise and smash it back together again. So we're good to go. Now we can get down there and get just a little bit more juice out of there, down in that pocket. All right, so I broke my pump, the siphon thing off. Anyway, so what I figured out is that the oil does actually come up through here from the engine, spills over into the tank to be returned. So what I did to do more of an oil change is you fill up fresh oil into the reservoir here, say like a quart at a time. I'll do that by hand. All right, so we are going to just dump any 10W40 oil. We're just trying to clean out the solvents down in here, so in the motor. So I'm just gonna put about a quart and a half in there or something like that. Let's see. 5-quart container. We're down to 4. Yeah, let's start there. Okay, so anyway. So now that oil, fresh oil there, old oil be coming from here. I'm gonna fire up the motor for no more than 30 seconds at a time, and I'm gonna aggressively pump this because the oil is gonna be trying to spill over the edge here. But if you aggressively pump on this, it'll extract it all without it being able to overwhelm here. So I'm gonna give that a try on video. I don't know if I'm gonna be successful since I'm on a cell phone. Alright, gotta set this video up and hit play or hit record before I'd like to, just so I could try to set my cell phone up anyway to capture this nonsense. Okay, so we got our oil still sitting down there in the reservoir. We're going to fire it up and then aggressively pump this thing, and we're going to siphon out all the shit oil until the good oil is coming out. Kind of like doing a brake bleed on a car. You can see it like it'll start to fill up on you. Oh, shit. I don't know how much of that got caught on video. It's kind of nonsense. So anyway, you're watching down in here to watch it drink until it gets to the very bottom. That's when you're killing the motor. Meanwhile, it's trying to overfill right here. So let's see how many quarts of oil we're at. We're at 3 quarts right now. There's a little over 4 quarts in this system, so I'd say if I pull out, tired. If I could pull out about 1 more or 2 more quarts of oil, that is a really close to 100% oil change. This is kind of a pain in the ass, but it's kind of fun. I'll try to brace this cell phone in a little bit better. See if I can get it to stay in place without falling. This is a lot of shaking and rattling going on during this process. All right, we got just a little under 4 quarts in this.
Someone should do something.
10
You're right. You know what I'm calling them? Totally.
We'll fill it up to that point where the where that first plate is at, that stainless steel plate, right at the top of the screw level. That's 1 quart down in there. So now again, we're down in that back kind of oval hole, and I'm going to start pumping right away because this is going to get, let's see. Oh. Iron. All right. See where we're at. Oops, got oil all over everything. What an effing mess. This hole is getting thrown away, so I don't really care how messy this gets rid of. Let's see what we got here. We got 1, 2, 3. We got almost 4 full quarts. Whew. 4 full quarts of oil now out of this tea. So I'm going to empty this oil reservoir, my oil tank, and then come back and maybe do 1 more quart like that once it cools down a little bit.